right, well, this is a big deal because I have been waiting for the 50th episode. I wanted the 50th episode, and we've been doing Another Fishing Podcast for a while, all right? There's been different iterations of Another Fishing Podcast. This newest iteration of Another Fishing Podcast, okay? Whatever you want to call it, the next generation, it's kind of like Star Trek or something, I don't know. Whatever you want to call it, but it is the 50th episode of this new iteration of Another Fishing Podcast, and I wanted this guy on it because this is Another Fishing Podcast is me and this dude. You may have seen him before. Pete Wagner's back, y'all. He is back. Pete, say something.
I thought you were going to say that you want to be on because I was such an expert in the fishing world.
Yes.
Also, I thought it was 100. It's 50?
Well, no, we've actually done 200 of these probably. But this new iteration, I don't know what you want to call it. Okay, I mean we could that's maybe for another podcast, but yeah, let's.
I'm thrilled to be here.
I'm thrilled that you're here. To be quite honest, it's awkward as hell, you not being here. So I would prefer you be here every time, but we'll get into that more. Let's tell people what's going to be happening in this podcast. It's going to be super exciting. I'm looking at how I'm framed because, you know, I'm a total anal nut. Anal nut. Don't clip that. Anybody, don't clip that. I'm not an anal nut. I don't know what that means. Should we just try to move on with this podcast? What's going on right now is Pete is back, okay? And we're going to be talking about this new winter catfish opportunity that I'm so excited to talk about with you, Pete. The plan, just in general, for Angling Uploaded, another fishing show, another fishing podcast we're going to talk about. Have you ever wanted to get sloshed in an igloo? Of course you have. Who hasn't wanted to get sloshed in an igloo? We're going to be talking about it. Rapala's got a funny new commercial. There's a fish bandit on the loose, Pete. And the perils, that it's very dangerous filming fishing. We're going to show you why. Let's get started.
This isn't another fishing podcast. This is another fishing podcast.
All right, Pete. So what in the heck, dude, have you been up to? People have missed you. People have been like, where the hell is this guy? It's not even like, what is Greg even doing without Pete? And the fact of the matter is I have no idea. I'm just like treading water here. So how the hell have you been?
I've been doing great. By the way, are you able to see me all the time, or can I pick my nose when you're up?
You tell me when you want to pick your nose, and I'll cut back to me picking my nose.
I think I can see what happens, but you can't see both of us at the same time, right?
Right. I haven't figured out how to do a split screen yet, so I'm still learning Ecamm Live.
I think podcasts are just something people listen to, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, yes, there's a lot of listening going on with podcasts.
But anyway, as you can see, I'm kind of sitting in a studio, so to speak.
Yes.
It's called Studios. And I've been spending
What's the name of your studio?
Appalooza.
Appalooza, I like it.
And I've been spending a lot of time making music, and when you have two small kids, you kind of have to pick your poison. So I've been playing a lot of music. Hey, Barney, come here. Sorry, my dog's scratching.
Let's see Barney.
Barney, come here. You're in big trouble. I might have to let Barney out. Come here.
No worries.
Barney just turned one.
Pete, you have two dogs, correct?
I have two dogs. I got Buddy and Barney. Buddy is the fisherman. Barney is just the long-legged. He's like German short hair, lab, poodle, and he's super chill, except when you leave the house. And then he'll destroy everything in the house.
Destroyer of worlds.
The last time we left him out, he took a plant and he drug it around the entire house on all the furniture and through our bed and left dirt everywhere. It was pretty immensely impressive.
Oh, boy.
But yeah, I haven't been not fishing.
Yeah, so tell me about what's been going on fishing-wise for you.
Well, I guess on your channel, you can still see me when I'm up in the boundary waters, and that's part of what I'm planning right now is actually Quetico this year. I'm heading into Canada. That's kind of my favorite thing to film. And I've been editing one for 2 months already. It's so massive, like the amount of footage I have, like I can spend half of the year just editing that stupid show. But we went out and did a couple of shows on the Mississippi River before the cold snap, which was a ton of fun. And that's our plan tomorrow. We're actually kind of gearing up for the ice has moved out of Red Wing after the plant has been down for a month. Everything froze for the first time in 40 years. And then some guy went out there with a fan on the back of his boat and started smashing all the ice when they fired up the plant again. So now it seems like the ice is clear and free. So we're heading out of Everest tomorrow, and I could not be more thrilled. It's going to be 51 degrees in Minnesota in early February, and we're going to be out there working on our tans.
Yeah, it's pretty weird. This has been the winter that wasn't really, and which is great in as far as like if you're not the greatest ice fisherman, you know, I'm not the greatest ice fisherman. Would you consider yourself? I mean, I think you're a hell of a lot better than I am. You got a lot more equipment at least.
It's all about the water you get to fish, but for me, I'm bad at ice fishing because I'm lazy. So if I can't drive to my ice hole, I probably am not going to be motivated enough to get there. Plus, I have year-round trout season around here, so I'm always like, well, I could just grab the rods and a tub full of gear and go hiking through the woods, which is usually the big temptation for me. So I kind of miss ice fishing, but I didn't get out ice fishing last year. Did you get out last year?
That is a great question. I don't even think I got out at all.
I thought you did not, and I thought
I'm pretty sure I did. I did not. I'm not proud of the fact.
Yeah,
agreed.
Which is and I was committed this winter. I'm like, okay, well, as soon as we get good ice, I'm gonna be ready to rock, and we're gonna make this happen. And then, of course, we never got good ice, especially in southern Minnesota. I mean, it's a joke down here right now. There's not even such a thing as ice. Really, it's just black slush right now on top of the water. But even some of the bigger bodies of water I see down here have some open water in them full of geese, you know?
Yeah.
It's bizarre. It's bizarro. So
it is really bizarre.
I don't think we're going to get out ice fishing this year.
So the weird thing is that, you know, so I'm very self-conscious right now. So I haven't exercised in a while. I try to exercise because I'm worried about my heart, Pete. We're both of us are getting older, and so I have.
How do you exercise?
Well, I've ran in the past. I've ran, and so I haven't done it. I'm trying to save money. As you may have heard, I'm in a bit of. Financially, it's a little uncertain this year, so I got rid of my gym membership. The reality is, I didn't even use that much.
I have a gym.
Go ahead.
I have a gym membership in Rochester here, so the kids can go swimming or whatever. But anyway, it's like one of the finest because it's Rochester. Everybody's health crazy here.
Are they really? Oh yeah, because Mayo. Yeah.
For over 2 years, I've had this gym membership, and I've never worked out there one time.
Yeah. So for.
But for me, I will go outside. Like, I go hiking in the woods when I'm trout fishing. I consider that my exercise, you know?
No, well, that's good. I mean,
by the way, Greg,
that's a lot of work. What's that?
You can run outside if you want. Do you know that?
Yeah, no, I know. I'm making excuses right now. These are excuses that I'm making.
Your wife is a runner.
And like, yes, and she must look at me like I'm the biggest loser ever. It's like, you know, he's just down in the basement, and he has time in the day. He could, you know, she's probably listening to this right now. But yeah, no, I need to become more motivated, and I think right now the leather is coming off the seat. Anyway, sorry. I'm on a pub table that I've had for about, 30 years.
I know that chair.
And the leather, fake leather, I guess, is coming off it, and it sticks to my hands. And I thought, it's like, what's going on here? But
it's
anyway,
your hot fat ass is melting the chair.
Yes. It goes without saying that happens all the time. But so I look at myself, I'm very self-conscious, and I can see that even when I didn't even run that much, even the little amount that I would do, it would help. It would chisel my this right here is a real problem for me. this second chin, and this is a story, a really tragic story. So I was getting, I was trimming up my beard the other day, and you could probably still see it. I forgot, I accidentally, well, I didn't realize that I had it on the lowest trim setting, my beard trimmer.
Yeah.
And I went right up here. Can you see that right there?
Not
That's like but it's starting to grow back, but I'm like, so I had to trim this beard way lower, or like, thinner than I normally would, and it exposes this double chin of mine.
Now I see it. I just want big screen. It's unavoidable.
Yeah. And so I'm worried my wife is gonna leave me unless I got to grow this beard out quicker. But anyway, so the whole, I don't know how we got off on this tangent. This is typical, but yeah. So I need to be running. But what were we talking about? So let's get back to fishing, for God's sakes. So
I guess.
you have been, I don't even remember what we were talking about, but
I was just talking about our lack of ice fishing, I guess.
Yes. Yeah, I don't remember ice fishing last year.
Yeah, I don't think either of us did. But like I said, the gift down here for me is trout streams, and then usually Red Wing. It was a weird year at Red Wing because the nuclear plant, which we depend on to grow our fish, both towers shut down. Usually they shut down one or the other, and they somehow had some malfunction. They had to close them both down, and everyone was freaking out. And I can't imagine how many boats are going to be out there tomorrow. I'm a little nervous, honestly. More so for parking. Once you get out there, it's not terrible. But just finding a place to park your boat and trailer can be, a situation.
You know what's kind of interesting? I got a little nervous, too. I had my boat down there. I guess it was in December. I think that's right. End of December, I was down there with my boat, I think. And I was a little nervous at first going down there, thinking, oh gosh, I'm not like a regular down here. And what you soon find out is that there's a lot of people that are complete messes. So even if, seriously, there's people all kinds of not, just leaving stuff, like having stuff strapped on, like the transom straps on still, and launch. All kinds of jackassery going on.
Yeah, because a lot of these guys who've never fished in a river are just, plowing in down there, and they're not used to dropping your boat in, and there's current taking it away right away. But it's one of those things, like, you just got to get out there. The river used to intimidate me so much. We avoided it most of our lives. Even when we had boat access, we wouldn't go to the river because I'm like, I don't know what that is. There's barges, giant barges and huge logs, whatever. You just kind of learn to get a feel for the river, and it's got, different vibes at different times of the year. And, if there's a lot of rain, it's a whole different river than when there's not. But I still feel pretty comfortable. But that being said, last time I was out there alone, when I was trying to land my boat, I accidentally let it go when I was standing on the dock waiting for some other guy to get his boat on the trailer, and I had to dive from the dock into my boat to save it.
Oh, wow.
And this guy was just staring at me like, I said to him, I got up and I threw the rope back to the dock and he pulled me in, and I was like, yeah, that didn't go like I had planned, trying to make a joke, and he just stared at me. I thought this looked hilarious,
Right.
But you're wearing snow gear and boots, and, you're trying to be agile on the dock at 50 years old. It just doesn't have the same vibe it used to. But long story short, if you're scared of fishing the big river, don't. You just got to get out there and practice it. Plus, it's full of backwater. The main channel is the smallest part of that system.
Yeah.
There's so much to fish out there. But I will say, fishing without spot lock is almost impossible up by that dam when there's crowds,
Yeah, spot lock. Talk about what, you've added, and we featured this on, I think we've done 2 videos down there recently. Yep. But yeah, we've shown you've got an Altera, so it's auto stow and deploy, deploy and stow, I guess I should say, automatically. And then it's like, this is crazy technology for us. Like, just the fact that global position. Pete and I are old enough. We remember when there wasn't such a thing as global positioning. So what's that like to have that ability to just have satellites just, keep you locked on a spot?
It's unbelievable, especially in heavy current and especially in crowds where it's bumper boats. I mean, a lot of times you're fishing 15, 20 feet from 3 boats on every side of you. And I used to, go out there and try and double anchor. And, the worst part about that is you can't move around. If you're not catching any fish, you're tearing up your anchors and trying to get to the next spot. But I bet I don't even understand 95% of how my Altera is linked in with my Helix, where you can sort of stay on contour lines, and it's endless. Like, the manual is like the size of the Bible. But for just going to a spot and hitting a button and staying there, I mean, that solves 90% of my problem out there. Plus, there's another button that just moves you 10 feet left, 10 feet forward, 10 feet right, 10 feet back. Like, you just hit a button and it just moves you. And for the most part, holds you there. I'd say it holds you, depending upon the current, in like a 5-foot area,
Yeah.
But it changed the way I could fish out there. I was like, oh, this is easy now. Like, you're fishing. You're not fighting every single aspect of being in a boat in current and trying to stay in one spot.
Yeah.
Even if you have a trolling motor to move around, there's so many boats and so much oddity. The currents swirl out there, so it's throwing you every direction. So you're just asking for trouble if you're not in a spot locking out there. I don't know. I think last time we were out there, I don't think one boat didn't have spot lock, unless they were hugging the shore. So it's been a game changer, and I've only been out there 4 or 5 times since I still haven't got to fish the spring bite out there with spot lock, which is going to be incredible. It's probably already starting. By the way, the fishing reports out there have been great, so I don't
That's
want
awesome to hear. Yeah, no, I feel like, your setup, your boat, you just made it just a perfect riverboat, with the spot lock now. You've got the spotlights, for like, catfishing on a river. I mean, it's great for walleye fishing too, walleye fishing at night. I commend you for just dialing that thing in.
I picked up another spotlight too, a brighter one. By the way, Detro was out there fishing sturgeon this week. Did you see that?
I know, dude. I was gonna trying to put this, just preparing for this podcast. I was trying to get that picture. It's on Facebook.
Yeah.
I could probably find it here, but yeah. So he's out on the St. Croix River, right? That was St. Croix, of course, right?
It was Mississippi.
Yeah. You're right.
I don't think he's out on the Croix. It looked like Red Wing area. I don't know for sure, but this never happens. I went and got fatheads tonight, and I go over to the sucker tank, and the guy has got 30 or 40 giant suckers. And like, why do you have suckers this big? He's like, I don't know. It's just random. The guy just dropped off a ton of huge suckers. I'm like, that never happens when I'm going sturgeon fishing, ever, or catfishing. Usually you're cutting up 4-inch suckers, 5-inch suckers, unless you get lucky and find the right guy. So I was so tempted tonight. I was like, oh, should I? And then I was like, it's just going to distract me. And then we're going to be trying to fish more than we should be. And, we'll have our hands full tomorrow already. But it was pretty cool to see. I think he was on the miss because I don't think anywhere on the St. Croix is open, right?
Well, I mean, I don't know. I mean, when you've had that nice of weather and then you have current. And so it's hard to know whether. I mean, I could see that opening up, But they're fishing Bayport.
They're ice fishing Bayport. So you would have to get lucky enough to have a landing with no ice, and I don't know where that would be,
I mean, I have no idea. I think it's possible. I'll say that. With current, it's possible that opened.
It is possible. I will say it looked like a super wide valley, like the Miss. The Croix's got those ups, but
right.
I don't want to out Detroit's hot spots, but there's only so many spots you can be right now.
So I don't know if you said So we're talking about Darren Troseth. You can find him on Facebook. Honestly, I've learned a lot from Darren, particularly about ice fishing for channel catfish. But he's a Minnesota bottom fisherman. And there's just not a whole lot of those, There's a ton of walleye guys. There's more and more bass guys, but Minnesota cat fishermen are a little bit more rare. Although I actually ran into some. I'll talk about it here shortly, but ran into some cat fishermen on the Mississippi, not far from me. So I mean, there are more Minnesota cat fishermen out there, but there's a hell of a lot more walleye anglers.
Yeah, and Detro just celebrated some sort of anniversary on YouTube. But most importantly, that guy actively, works with the government and officials that can change laws that help catfishing and help protect what people call rough fish, which is, kind of been obscene to us for a long time. I mean, he's literally went out there and got laws changed. Plus, he was pushing that stuff through where you could have multiple rods on the Minnesota, which is a game changer for catfishing.
No doubt.
He changed the rules. He was part of changing the rules that allowed fishermen to throw cast nets to catch their own shad.
Yep.
You can't get shad in Minnesota, so I don't know what the fear was there that you're going to go out and net walleye. But Darren's done a bunch of good things besides being a great guide and seems like a nice guy. He really has made fishing and better in Minnesota by protecting a lot more species that were just kind of overlooked as fish that you throw on the shore, sort of irresponsibly.
Yeah, so absolutely. He's done a ton, and people that love catfish, in Minnesota really owe him. There's a debt of gratitude there because he's, it's you could be like me and just complain and not do anything, or you can be like Darren and actually affect change.
Let's just
be like Darren. Let's support Darren. But he also listens to another fishing podcast, so thank you, Darren, if you're listening.
What's up, Darren?
What's up, brother? Yeah, you're doing great work, and I've learned a ton from you, and we should actually try to fish with Darren sometime. And, by the way, we need to do another fishing show with Darren. There's some different possibilities there. I've talked with him in the past, but I really want to do a sturgeon thing with him, but that's not going to happen now. An ice fishing thing, obviously, it's that the sturgeon ice fishing thing isn't going to happen this year.
By the way, speaking of sturgeon, on the Minnesota River by New Ulm this week, kids ice fishing on the Minnesota River pulled a 51-inch sturgeon through the ice up there.
Wow.
Yeah, on the Minnesota.
That's awesome.
We've had a lot of dead baits sitting in the water on that Minnesota River in our lifetime, and we've only caught shovel nose. This was a lake sturgeon up there. It was pretty cool to see. That's
really cool. Really cool. Well, okay, so let's start getting into it. I got a list here. This is going to be very exciting, Pete. I know that you've been waiting for this, but I kind of want to start the podcast out. As we've been doing, we're just talking about angling uploaded news, stuff that's going on kind of in our life. So I first want to talk about that a little bit. I mean, on my list, I just want to make sure I get to the stuff on our list. I mean, we have been talking about what's going on in our life, but more specifically, I went smallmouth bass fishing the other day, and that video is actually, let me think, when am I putting that up? That is going up Wednesday, you'll see it. And it was a challenge, I'm not going to lie, but every time you go fishing, it's an opportunity to learn. I know that sounds stupid, but it's true. I'm not trying to make excuses. And I ran into the stretch of river is a great, I'm not going to get too specific because I've been yelled at before on the internet for being specific. It just like scarred me. Do you remember that? Remember that when we fished that? I mean, I just got lambasted, and I'm very sensitive. People might not realize this, but I'm very sensitive.
And we just outed Detro's location also, but whatever.
Oh well, I think people know.
Remember, I got pounded for like fishing that buffalo spot in the spring. You remember that one?
Yes.
They were all freaking like, and I was out there, and there was like 4 bow hunters just waylaying everything that moved, Yeah,
and you're like catching and releasing rough fish.
Yeah, and I was catching. I'd have fish on the line, and the dudes would be like, "Hey, you want me to reel an arrow through that thing for you?" And I'm like, "No, it's fine. Let them go. It's okay, man. Unless you're taking them home, but it sounds like you're just killing them for fun. So I don't get it. Whatever." Yeah,
people can be very sensitive. I mean, I realize it to an extent, the internet, it's a whole new world, and the YouTube, and I get it. I do understand how people can be frustrated with it. I try to, we're always catch and releasing. We advocate catch and release. We always have. But also, I don't want to like just ruin people's spots. That's, that's certainly not the intention, but,
Is it between New Orleans and northern Minnesota?
Yeah, the spot that I really like to fish is in between there.
I know where you're talking.
Yeah, it's between the Gulf of Mexico
in Itasca State Park.
Yeah, and the source of the Mississippi River where it starts. You
are going to get trashed.
Yeah. I know.
goes up.
We're just we got to move forward with it. I can't just worry about how everybody's, reacting to, I got to move forward with this, man. I got to fish.
Anyway,
I got to fish.
You're fighting for smallies, and it was.
Yeah, so I'm I go to this area. It's got a warm water discharge. It's open all winter, right? And so it's can be a fantastic place to fish smallmouth. The problem is this time of year. Well, right now I shouldn't say this time of year. Right now the water is really low, and you get a ton of wade fishermen. And so I'm making the excuse that I didn't do as well because of all the pressure. Okay.
Right.
It was still like the important part is I learned something very, very, very crucial here. You can catch channel catfish on the river all year long. And for whatever reason, in my head, I thought, okay, channel catfish, yeah, they bite good in cold water. I've caught them through the ice. I met some catfishermen on the river that were, and I've seen them before. I've seen them before in the winter a long time ago. I actually did a video, you might remember this. I caught this like giant carp. I mean, it was like 30 pounds or something.
They helped you land it, right?
Yeah, so it's the same guys. I saw them out there the other day, and I just started talking with them. And they gave me a lot of great information, and I'm like, so you guys fish for catfish all year long on the river? It's like, yeah, it's a warm water discharge. Well, of course we do. I was like, well, yeah, duh.
Yeah, I've said for years that you're neglecting the cats up there because you're a bassaholic. You are by nature, So it's tough for you.
Yeah, I mean, I'm probably best at that, but you're right. You're absolutely right.
That Crow River in the Mississippi is a little more of a mystery up there because if people aren't aware, the Mississippi after the dams hit is deep and wide and full of slack water, but where you are, it's shallower and swifter and full of rocks, and sometimes you can walk across it in its entirety. But it's a totally different fishing experience, so it doesn't feel as catty. But there's cats up there. All those rivers that feed into it up there are good catfish rivers,
Well, the interesting thing is, so these guys told me that they actually stocked channel catfish on there. So evidently I think he said, the gentleman I was talking to, he's got this River Pro dude. It's like, it's a perfect, jet boat, perfect. I mean, this guy's just like a hardcore, it's three guys, but the main dude is just like a hardcore cat fisherman. And so they showed me the catfish they're catching, dude, and they were nice. They're probably, good ones. I don't know, like 8, 10 pounders, something like that.
They showed you on a phone photo?
No, they're out there fishing with me.
Like they would catch them and show them to you?
Well, they were keeping them. So they love to eat them. They're like, it's amazing. People don't think they taste good. They taste great. I'm like, yeah, exactly. Like people down south, that's all they eat. It's like you go to a restaurant, it's channel catfish. It's like always on the menu. Up here, it's like if it's not a walleye, it's garbage.
Yeah. And you caught a good-sized cat, but you were walleye fishing, right? Or you were bass fishing? Channel cat on that stretch.
Yes, so I have the earliest that I've caught. I've known that there's good channels there, right? I know that there's. I've caught I think I caught like a 12-pounder in April. That was like the earliest I've caught one, like actually targeting them.
Oh, you were targeting them when you caught.
Yes, it was like in April. I was actually targeting, channel catfish. But as far as like, I just had this hang up in my head that you couldn't. It was. I just thought, okay, current, cold, even 40-degree water. That water coming out of the discharge is like 40, 45. It's.
Feels weird.
But so I just thought like, okay, catfish with current in the winter. I had in my head that it just wouldn't be worth it, and I was totally wrong. So it's just opened up another opportunity in the winter. Because smallmouth season's I'm pretty sure it closes, all the seasons in Minnesota, I get so mixed up. Right. It closes this month. It closes at the end of February, but it's awesome to think that I could just, go out and target, catfish now on that stretch.
We had that same attitude towards catching cats through the ice until you realize it's not that they're not eating. It's just that they're eating less, and you just have to figure out where they're at. Like usually it's just a deep spot, and you're just dropping them down there. But they're not any different once you get them on the line. And the other thing is, have you ever heard of catfish stocking anywhere else in Minnesota before?
No,
I didn't even.
So these guys, they like the guy I was talking to. He actually lives right there. We're not going to go into specifics here, but he lives on the river. Like, he showed me his house. He's like, and he's lived there like forever. And so I believe him. He seemed to really know his stuff, and he's like, I'm not saying that channel cat. Of course, channel cats were probably in there.
Yeah,
they have to be. But I think I could see them just really accelerate. Just stocking to I don't know. That's what he said. So
it doesn't like a natural channel cat kind of river. It runs a little clear. Not that makes any difference, because Ottertail is that kind of vibe. But it seems swifter and not catfishy, But like, if you stock catfish in there, you think they would just move into the rivers that they like more, I don't understand. I mean, not just what the guy said. I just never. Where are they raising catfish fry in Minnesota? You know what I mean? Like,
but they're not doing it anymore. It was something that I think he said happened like in the 70s.
Right.
And that may have corresponded, because keep in mind, the horseshoe chain of lakes, those were stocked in there as well.
Wow.
So it might have been around the same time. There might have been, for whatever reason, the DNR at that time thought catfish should be more of a sport fish in Minnesota. I don't know. And maybe there was just a campaign to stock catfish more.
Well, they've always been the number one sport fish in America. Maybe they're just trying to catch up,
Yeah, so it was I mean, it was just nice to just think, here's another opportunity, and I love and these are good, and these are good big channel catfish, I mean,
who cares? I'm thrilled at like a 5-pound channel catfish.
Well, imagine catching a 5-pound walleye.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, it's, I mean, if you're a multi-species guy, it's like, it's like that's who cares?
Right. Especially in the winter when you can be on water. It's such an awesome situation in Minnesota when that happens. When I can hear running water, in the middle of December and January, it's like, a massage for my eardrums.
No doubt. Absolutely. Well, so I got all keyed up. I did a smallmouth video that day. And then I'm like, okay, I got to get back out here and do a video. I mean, this is so exciting. So what I did is, and thanks to Darren, by the way, he kind of clued me in on a bite going on at the Horseshoe Chain of Lakes like 2 summers ago, and using, shrimp for bait. So, right. I mean, going to like your local grocery store, like Pete's, preferably Pete's grocery store. You have shrimp skewers, right? Of course you have shrimp. Just regular, just
whatever size you need for your bait fishing needs. We've got it at Kenny Market.
Perfect. So it's
perfect.
So it's nice just to go. It's so easy. You don't have to cut anything up. It's like suckers kind of get messy, cutting suckers into little squares for bait. So what's so nice about using shrimp is that it just fits like a 1/0 or 2/0 kale hook perfectly. It's almost like that bend of a kale hook is the perfect bend of the shrimp. It's wild.
And it's dirty too, right? Like it's, it doesn't come off, right?
Yes. And so the beauty, and this is why people do it, is that it's easy. It's something a little bit different for the catfish, I think. So if you've been using cut bait and you're not having any luck, try shrimp or something. Just another option, right? But it's easier, it's cleaner. What was the other thing? I don't know if it's actually, I think the shrimp that I bought recently was like, it was for like $1.89 on a skewer. Right. So I buy the skewers. Right. But the thing is, so I went out, went to the grocery store, bought the shrimp, headed to the river, and it just it didn't work out. And I was around some other guys' actually the same guys came out. Actually, not the same guy. One of the guys that was in that group came out.
Yeah.
and was fishing. And so I told them what I was using, and they were using cut bait. They didn't catch anything either, but there was a guy on a dock near me that caught 2 really nice ones right in the same area I was fishing. I don't know if him catching those catfish just kind of messed everything up. I got to figure out an excuse. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, of course.
But I went out there, had cameras, I'm filming it and stuff, and going to the grocery store, documenting the whole thing, and I didn't catch a darn thing.
This was this week?
Yeah.
Oh,
so it really sucks. But I got bites.
Yeah, you just
yeah, so it's just, you're looking for holes, you're looking for breaks in the current, just slacker water areas with some depth, I think, more than anything. And it's like catfish can be as finicky as any fish sometimes. And I think, I think maybe the pressure of those, 2 bigger ones getting caught out of there and just, they can get kind of weird like any fish. So I'm making excuses.
You're not fishing wood ever, though, right? There's not laydowns.
No. And so that's why I'm like, I used just a medium heavy bass, like, jigging, flipping, pitch and jigs rod, medium heavy rod, 7-foot rod, because I thought the rod that I usually use for channel cats and like thicker like snags and stuff, I was like, this is too much, is overkill, so. But yeah, there's no snag. It's all it is. It's a clean bottom, no snags at all, which is really nice. You're just looking for holes,
And are you anchored, or are you just trying to hold your spot?
Yes.
You're anchored with your rod in a holder?
I stupidly forgot my rod holder. There's always something I forget.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I had to, and dude, like I'm getting hit by, like, I'm anchored, right? And I'm getting hit by icebergs. I'm like, boom.
That's
and one of them got like caught up in the anchor line, and I'm like, uh-oh.
That's dangerous.
Yeah, so that was a little spooky, but it all worked out. One of the guys on the dock was like alerting me. He's like, "Hey, you gotta," so I kind of had a helper.
In the spring, like, that's a dangerous thing with wood, because if it grabs those anchor lines, it pulls your boat down until it breaches, and then flips your boat over. So, like, if you're double anchored in the spring and you're catfishing in a normal catfish spot, which is usually on the edge of that current, that's kind of the worst thing you can imagine. But I will say, tomorrow I already put the net in the boat, because the last time we didn't have a net. Remember that?
Oh yeah. Well, it's like I said, there's always something that we forget.
Right. But this is another beauty of spot lock, is when you're dodging icebergs on a February river in Minnesota. Spot lock, you just hit your button, move left or right, whatever. At least you're not going to get tangled in the rope.
No, it's an absolutely beautiful, beautiful thing. I can't say enough about it. I'm not. It's super frustrating. I've got this boat out here that I'm just trying to pay down, and I just can't. I just am in a in a bit of a financial quandary. Here's the thing. Both of us come from like the Howard Stern world of broadcasting. We grew up listening to Howard Stern. Okay, I was eaten up with Howard Stern. I love that he was just honest about everything. Just telling everything. His wife, I think, divorced him because of it. I'm hoping that won't happen to me. But I'm just gonna be honest. I think that makes for. I mean, I've always been entertained by that. That's why I was a huge fan of Howard. And so I'm going to tell you right now. So I got this boat out there. It's probably not it's probably financially, and I need to keep this down. So my wife, it probably makes more sense to sell it, but I'm holding on for dear life to this thing.
Oh, I just gave you a Helix, so.
I know. So I can't. The thing is, like, I can't. I have the boat. I have the big motor, which is just ridiculous.
It's a great boat.
It's a great boat. I'm just like, good to everything, But the thing is, I can't afford to put anything on it. So everything's stock. I got, it's stored outside. I've never brought the batteries in, ever. Right. So the batteries are tanking. The stupid graph on it, the stock graph on it, isn't working. So Pete was kind enough to, the last time we went fishing, he gave me this Helix 7 that I planned. Yeah, go ahead.
Truth be told, I had that Helix 7 because you told my wife to get it for me for my birthday. So when I got the Helix 9, I'm like, I know where this one is going, But, you had a similar situation with a great boat living in Oklahoma. Like, you outboated yourself.
This is what I do. I just, I can't, I'm like, so, what is that? I feel like I'm pretty, I don't like debt. You're going to laugh at this.
No,
but
I know
like
you don't.
credit card, I don't like debt. But there's an exception when it comes to a boat. Like, I've just tried. I'm like, okay, I think it kind of is. Like, it's worth. So the whole thing is like, okay, I'm going to be prepared to sell this if I really, really have to. But I'm just like this. My line of work, it's just always very fluid, And I'm like, let's just kind of
never know what's coming.
I'm not going to go too much into specifics here, but I got contacted recently with some work for some work, and I'm like, yes, this is what is necessary here in many respects. It's like, okay, yes, it's like, okay, I can start pulling things together now, and so it's it's stressful, but I haven't really lived any other way in many respects. I don't want to, I'm approaching your age, Pete, okay? I'm approaching your age quickly.
I turned 50. I turned 50 this year is what he's alluding to.
Yeah, so I'm like, come on, man. Don't I deserve this thing? No one deserves it. You got to work for everything. I'm all about that.
And I'm at the opposite end with my boat because my boat was essentially free. The boat I grew up fishing with my grandpa, so it's a 1983 Illumicraft, a 16-footer. So my boat is entirely bells and whistles because that was the only thing I was spending money on, So I still look at it as like, well, I still have an 84 Suzuki motor on there that smokes like a bear,
I love it. Well, here's the thing. I'm driving a 95 Chevy Silverado pickup truck. Okay,
right.
You see my priorities, and then my other car is a 2007 Hyundai Elantra that my mom gifted me.
And that can't pull that.
I've got a $44,000. That to me is a lot of money. It's all relative, right? But a $44,000 boat to me, that's where I'm putting my money. And at the time, 4 years ago, roughly, when I bought it, it was like, let's do this. Let's pay this thing down. And then last fall, and some other stuff before that. But it's been tumultuous. And so it's like, okay, all right. Well, now what are we going to do here? So, when the proverbial shit hit the fan last fall, I'm like, okay, I'm taking pictures. I'm going to get ready to sell this. I have those pictures. If I have to do it, I've paid down the boat enough that if I had to get the thing off my hands, I could do it, I feel like, quickly.
Right.
Provided the economy doesn't crash here anytime soon. And people are like, I can't afford even a hell of a deal on a boat.
That's the emergency lever, is selling that thing. I'm hoping that thing gets into motion.
I'm trying but so the fingers crossed part of this, Pete, and I'm not going to get into specifics here, but I had a contact wanting to know if I was available for work, and
that's prosecution. I can tell. Just tell.
You got to do what you got to do, man. It's for a boat, man. So it's just please keep your fingers crossed for me. And so this is going to go into let me talk about this part here. So this kind of plays into my thoughts about this year, and I want to just run some things by you. Angling Uploaded, another fishing show, another fishing podcast related. So I really feel like this, if it ain't going to happen this year, it ain't going to happen. I'm getting older. We're all getting older here. There's a window, I feel like, this is the window. This year is the window.
You've been learning and fighting for...
But a lot of it, dude, honestly, is just the fact that I'm old school. I started video production in 2000. And I've had to break myself, essentially. I've had to break myself and go, listen, idiot, things don't have to be color corrected. Things don't have to be audio sweetened. People want to see just reels, jump cuts. Just get to it. Ba, 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 ba. tell the story. You can tell the story without really any edits. What's important about YouTube is that people, it really is social, right? It really is social media.
It is,
like,
yeah.
People want to feel like, first of all, there's a lot, people use YouTube to learn, like fishing YouTube to learn, but also it's just like, it's a totally new world as far as like entertainment and just viewing content, I've been really stuck in this old school mentality of television production, and dude, there might as well have been like a UFO that landed, in the world of video production, or just in general, just the idea of how people watch television or watch video. It's just I'm not describing this very well, but it's been such a seismic shift in how people watch entertainment,
How they absorb it in. Like, even now, you're sitting in a lovely studio, like a classic looking, great, almost TV studio.
People don't want this. They don't want to see all this. They're like, oh, this guy's all highfalutin.
Yeah, you can be on your couch right now.
I am in my basement, everybody. I'm in my basement right now. My father-in-law helped me put all this up. Okay, this is the Vern Olsen studio.
Yes, right there. That's Minnesota, baby, right there.
Yeah, but it's not necessary. I mean, it is a totally new world, dude. And I'm excited about that, though, and that's why I keep coming back to it and going. Try to figure this out and break your old ways of doing things and go, dude. Go, just do. Because and I say this too, because if there's people listening that are wanting to get into YouTube or struggling with YouTube, there is, no one struggled more than me. And with all these preconceived notions of how content needs to be, throw all that out the window.
I mean, we had a helicopter and 4 girls in bikinis rolling around in the ice. We're like, we're going to be rich, Just like, no.
No, so, I mean, the biggest thing with YouTube, and so if you're wanting to get into YouTube or you're frustrated with it, whatever, you have to be consistent. Number one rule, you have to be consistent. If you're not consistent, just don't do it at all. Don't do it at all. You have to be consistent. That means at least one video a week. If you want to give this a real go, you need to do one video a week. If you can do that, at least one video a week. But start with one video. Just get that in your mind. Okay, I got to do one video a week. Then move up to 2 videos a week. Your final goal should be 3 videos a week. If you really want to get this, and I'm not talking these need to be masterpieces. Just let people into what you're doing and tell a story.
Right.
So, but with all that being said, and I'm going to be a little bit self-contradictory here, I guess.
What?
Yes, a little bit. So I think what we have here, Pete, okay, is you and I have loved radio, okay? We've loved radio. We're big Howard Stern dudes, okay?
Yeah.
So we had the world now is about. You ever seen the movie Pump Up the Volume with Christian Slater back in the day? It's like early 90s.
I don't think so. Is it a dance movie?
It's about like pirate radio.
Oh,
okay?
Yeah.
And so it's about pirate radio. And essentially that's what we have now. If we have pirate radio, a schmuck like me can be down here in my basement and and be broadcasting to the world. Like it's really So it's really exciting. I like, as far as Angling Uploaded, the umbrella. We have another fishing podcast that's but another fishing podcast does not make any sense. Does not make any sense without another fishing show. That's why we started another fishing podcast. Okay. And for me, I want to make something, it's just partly selfish, but with another fishing show, it's like, you said this one time, and maybe you're high, I don't know, drunk, excuse me.
Drunk is a verb. Right?
Yeah, you're right. So, you told me one time that you thought another fishing show was like, you thought it was art. Yeah.
Yeah.
You said that.
Fishing
And-
with John style. Which is a
Yes.
whole nother.
Look up Fishing with John sometime, guys, if you haven't. It's really a great, very eclectic, what would you call it? Eccentric fishing show.
It's like art film with fishing. I don't
Right.
know how to, not really fishing, but kind of fishing.
Kind of fishing. Willem Dafoe, it had like celebrities on it and stuff. But the idea is that I want to get I want to fire that thing back up, dude. And I've got 2 videos that I'm going to edit. You may have, and even I don't care if it's going to be like a flashback, a throwback. We'll put them up on Throwback Thursday. But we've got a catfish episode that's 100 years old, and also I'm going to edit these, dude. I'm going to edit these this year. Okay.
This is a catfishing video where I think it was my first flathead ever, and I kept calling the clicker a clacker.
Right.
The entire.
So
that video.
Just for that reason, we need to get this thing out to the internet. So
that's so green.
We're so green. We're so young. This is like 10 years ago. But I'm going to edit these this year, just like we've done on the same style, another fishing show in the past.
Is the other one Otter Tail River? Because you never finished that one, right?
No, that's up there. I'm talking another fishing show, buddy. I'm talking the feature episodes.
So what's the other one?
So the other one is that, remember we went trout fishing? It was like we went in the spring. Yeah. And remember when I did the interview with you and I blinded you with my lights, like you really couldn't see for the longest time? Remember that?
You gave me double vision.
Yeah, double vision.
You got to look right on the edge of the spotlight here. I'm like, okay.
I'm sorry, man. I probably messed up your eyes for life. But so I just want to run this by you, man. So I want to get it. So we're doing next year 4 another fishing shows that I've edited.
Oh, you mean 4 over the course of the year?
So here's the plan. Okay. We need to film 4 another fishing show episodes, feature episodes. You know what I mean? Like we need to film 4 of them this year.
The Ball Buster episodes.
Yes, but this is why we started this whole thing to begin with, man.
I know.
This is why we started it. Okay, I'm telling you, dude, we can do this. We can do this. We can blow this channel up. Number one, I'm doing it for selfish reasons because I need this as supplemental income. You know what I'm saying?
But aren't you also going against what you just said though? That
yes, I know that's why I know that's why you're saying this. But for my own, I think we can be successful. I think we can do this I think we need to set ourselves apart, right? So another fishing show sets us apart from the other channels that are out there. There's great stuff out there, right? There's a lot of great stuff out there.
I thought we set ourselves apart when we were doing them. I was like, why are these not taking off?
It's because we don't. Here's the thing, YouTube. If you are not putting stuff up consistently, and here's the plan. So here's the plan. A podcast, and whether you can do it or not, I've.
But that's how you pump the system. Your podcast.
So and this is also for people that want to get into YouTube. I'm saying this too because I want to help people that I believe YouTube. I've cursed it in the past. I still curse it, but it's really amazing for an old school guy to see what YouTube is. It is democratized everybody. And there's a ton of everybody's on there. So advertisers that's where we need to be,
right.
You know? So, so here's the thing. I've lost my train of thought somehow. Imagine that. But the idea is that another fishing show, we do it quarterly. So that's spring, summer, fall, winter.
Which is a small miracle. We've attempted this before.
I know, and it's my fault. I'm going to take the responsibility. I'm going to take full responsibility, my brother. Okay.
Sometimes you just have to, we would always try and schedule it around a major event, or because the Eel Pop Festival was fun, or whatever. That's something where there's a going on, because we loved interacting with people. The Damn Float show, that was. I still run into people who recognize me from that show. But is something we might just have to force it. We might not be able to get together on a day that is dependent on, like, my summer already is a shit show. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
I look at my calendar and I'm just like, oh my God, how did this happen already? Like, we're looking in September at things.
Right.
I'm like,
Yeah.
So it's like it's almost hard to pick a date. It's like if we get a day, we got to say, how can we make today and another fishing show episode and not make it, we found an event, how can we make that day happen? You know
Right.
what I mean?
Right. So yeah.
But yeah, I hear what you're saying.
Yeah, so I agree with that. I think it can be different things. It doesn't need to be, necessarily a 30-minute show or it could be any length, right? But it's got to have that feel at least. Even if it's 10 minutes, even if it's 8 minutes, it's got to have that structure and that of those original feature episodes, I feel like.
Right.
And with the music and the half-assery, that's easy for us. But
So I declare another Red Horse episode. I think we need a second swing at that one.
Oh, well, here's the cool thing. Here's the cool thing about that. So I haven't even put that. It's still up on the old channel, right? I haven't put it back. I haven't put it up on Angling Uploaded. I'm going to put it on Angling Uploaded. It's going to be. I'm going to do it this spring. We're just going to transfer it over to Angling Uploaded. And it's the 10. You ready for this? It's the 10-year anniversary of that event, dude.
That is crazy.
Crazy.
10 years. And that was kind of what?
Dude, I am like having a midlife crisis. I should have had a midlife crisis like at 40 or 30. When do people have midlife crisis? 40? Dude, I have had last year it started, and I'm like, what the hell is going? Where is time gone?
When I turned 50, you were having a midlife crisis.
Yes.
You're like, are you okay, dude? Like, you're 50 years old. I'm like, yeah, I think I'm fine. Should I not be feeling fine? Like, you started getting me worried,
it's just really surreal. Like, the older you get, I mean, my Grandpa Walter said this. He's like, the older you get, the faster time. It's no BS. It doesn't even feel like something happens to space-time as you get older. It's like the whole double slit test, where if the observer, there's weird stuff. Well, explain that double slit. You're going to be able to do that better than I. So people know what we're.
Are you talking about your hemorrhoids?
Anyway, we live in a very strange universe, quantum entanglement, all kinds of double slit tests. If you look at the observation, it acts different when you're not looking at it. Okay,
yes.
This is a weird world. I am telling you, it feels like as you get older, time is ripping by, and it's like someone is trying to get you off the planet. It feels like.
Yeah, it's been scientifically proven that older people perceive time faster. So when you're behind that old guy in front of you and he's driving 40 miles an hour, referencing your grandfather, by the way, it's scientifically proven it feels like he's driving faster than it is to him. There's something going on there where their perception of time changes. So things are coming at them quicker all the time. So when they're driving 40, it feels like when they were a kid driving 60,
What
so think
is
about
that?
the next time you're riding some poor old man's tailgate next time. Just, give him his space.
Yeah, you should anyway. Like, come on, we got to respect our older folks. So my point is that, so here's the strategy. And I think this, again, people listening to this is a good strategy, right? If you want it, so here's and you've probably seen this, what we're doing with the podcast here. So, we got to get into this other stuff. I know we got to get ready to go fishing tomorrow, but the whole thing is that when you do a podcast, the beauty of it is this podcast like this, where we're talking about different things that are kind of happening in the fishing industry, trending things. You do the full podcast, then you could take a clip out of that and make a separate video of something that is happening. YouTube, it's big trending. You want to grow your channel, you got to follow trending stuff. You got to do videos that will trend. So you got to, you got to tap into that, do videos that people are talking about, right now, topics that people are talking about. So in a podcast,
I'll throw in when I can on the, podcasts, when we can. And I'll even record videos even when I'm out by myself. But like right now, I refuse to record a video while I still have one to edit.
No, I totally get it, dude.
I'm sitting on the boundary wall. It's such a big project. I'm like, I don't need any distractions. I just need to sit down and finish this. You know, it's such a big thing.
Well, hurry up with that, because those are videos do the best on Angling Uploaded.
2 terabytes.
Although, yeah, say it again. 2 terabytes.
2 terabytes of raw footage. I was out there for 9 days. They're 16-hour days, and the camera never stops running. So now I'm reliving this entire vacation. I have to watch the whole thing again, which is kind of part that I love because it gets in my brain so I never forget it, you know?
Yeah.
But it is such an immense project because you can't just zip through that footage. You know, you got to find the little things that make it interesting. You can't just be like fish, 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 blah, 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 blah. It's got to be like about the place too. But I have a hard time. I even bought something for trout fishing that I can mount a GoPro on my wader belt. When I saw it, I'm like, oh, I'm going to use that eventually. So it's sitting in my closet, but I refuse to film until I get my big project launched to you, and then I'll throw on a GoPro and try and film some simple stuff. You know?
I totally get it, dude. I appreciate it very much. And so the whole idea, and so the goal is this. I'm going to get those 2 old Another Fishing Show episodes edited. The catfish episode, these are great. Once it's all edited and put my brilliance on it.
So they're not edited down at all. You just have
no. I mean, I am just gonna. I'm gonna cut them.
We did interviews for all that stuff. Right?
I know. Oh yeah, it's all there to tell a really fun story. I mean, it's. I know it's gonna be really fun when it's all put together. So, and it's just, to me too, it's part of our history. As corny as that might seem, you know, I don't want, so I don't, to me, and this is going to sound a little, I don't mean to get too corny here, but maybe this happens as you get older and, you know, you just appreciate life more. But to me, it's kind of, you know, Another Fishing Show to me is, not only are we trying to pay homage just to fishing and the people that fish, but it's also more so, I think, than anything, it's kind of, how do I say, it's paying homage to our friendship. When I do this, like, I mean, I wouldn't be a fisherman if it wasn't for you.
Right.
You know, like, I mean, seriously.
Like, you need to bounce that defined every summer day we had, you know? Yeah,
so that's a large part of why I do it, you know, and because the editing is very difficult, but I'm like, this is like, it's like a time capsule of our life, you know. And then the beauty of YouTube is the fact that then people can share that experience. I just lost you, I think. But yeah, so people probably call back. We just lost Pete, but I'm just going to keep on going. But I'm trying to. Pete's coming back here. Let's bring him back. All right, you still there?
Yeah.
Okay, no problem. So it's just did you get emotional? Is that why you cut out there?
Yeah, it got really. There was a moment there. I've caught my breath though.
So anyway, that's a lot of why I do that, and it's you know.
Well, that was a lot of the reason why I wanted to do it, especially when it was a grind.
Yeah.
I'm like, because I think back to all that time we were fishing where we might just have one still photo from a great day from a disposable camera, you know?
Yeah.
Oh, what would that be like to watch that entire day back, you know?
Right.
Well, it's Ansgar catching catfish, or you and me on Philly's Pond, you know, whatever. Right. Imagine having all that, but when 10 years go by, like it just did, that essentially is happening again. It's like, oh my God, you know, that day, the Minnesota River was such an enigma to us in this scary, crazy place where, can you even put a boat in that river? We don't know how that works. And then, where do we go? What do we use for sinkers? Like, how does this work? And a leader with a swivel? All of it was a fresh idea. And then it's all trial and error, breaking line after line after line. And when you finally get a bite, the excitement is genuine, you know?
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, staring at me right here, It does.
Yes, that's what it's all about, man. So yes, and so in yes, merchandise, that's super important. I mean, it's exciting what we can make this, Pete. It really is, and I feel like it's just taken this old school mind of mine to wrap my head and feel confident. Go, okay, yes, this thing is worth pursuing. Meaning YouTube. I feel like, okay, this thing, it was such an unknown. It was like a UFO land. I'm like, what is this? I don't, And I feel like I have a comfort level to go, okay, this is worth investing, really going full tilt now.
And I think a mixture of more standard sort of YouTube videos of the day.
Yes. Yes.
Just
so,
sort of,
yeah.
Crash and smash and grab kind of style videos.
Totally. So here's
you could mix that sort of old school stuff in with it, just because it's kind of gives it a fresh feel. It kind of gives something.
No doubt.
And then you got to get that stuff on all the platforms. So you have to find ways to put 10 minutes of that on Instagram and 5 minutes of it on TikTok. And you have to spread it around and make people come and find you.
Well, things are starting to roll. As far as like just, it's really amazing when you start seeing that, okay, you start posting videos, you see that the algorithm, just the fact that it's just, the wheels start turning. And
right.
you start getting more views the more you use the uploading more. And so let me just, I don't want to keep you too much longer. You got to get your boat going, but let me just quickly say that my game plan here, okay? So we'll get those 2 older videos edited this year. I want to shoot for filming 4 Another Fishing Show episodes this year.
I agree.
And I think we can do that. Like you said, none of them, they don't have to be these crazy, concepts either.
Greg had for one of them, that would be full of hilarity.
Say it again.
Can we teach Greg how to fly fish for one of those? That would be full of...
Absolutely. And then you're absolutely right. So the podcast has to be up every Monday. Now, I've hated having to do these without you, but I had to show myself that, you know what? Okay, if this has to go up every week, okay, and Pete's not going to be able to do it every week, I got to get confidence to be able to, still got to get a podcast out of here.
But you've had some great guests too. You had
so that's the other thing. So it can be, guests and I'd love to. We got to do a Doug Stange, dude. I think I can get Doug Stange, the great in-fisherman writer. I think I have some contacts. I think I could get a podcast with him, and we're going to do that one together, dude. If we can pull it off.
I have so many questions. Do you think we could find desperate hair metal guys that maybe also fish a little bit and get those guys on too? They're all probably pretty desperate at this point, right?
Yeah. I'll let you figure that one out. That's more your expertise. You got good contacts on that in that regard.
If you find a busted up hair metal guy that used to fish, I mean, we could kill 3 hours with that guy.
No doubt. So then, okay, so Monday's podcast, but what you were talking about as far as just content, it doesn't just getting stuff out there, more raw stuff or just raw stuff, that happens, can we get 1 video up a week, 2 videos,
By the way,
that's what I'm gonna shoot for.
When you say 1 video a week, you can count shorts in that mix, right? Like YouTube shorts?
Yeah. Absolutely.
I mean, you say not very confidently. You're like,
No. I mean, I'm talking. Yes. I mean, sure. You can. I'm not. Listen, I have. Yes.
Because I can be out fishing and I can grab,
no, I'm totally confident, dude. Yes.
15 minutes of footage.
Yes, Pete. Do shorts, please. Shorts do very good on YouTube.
If I go fishing, this is my standard. Usually it's beer and then fishing and then beer, right? So if you get 15 minutes of footage on your phone while you're out and about, even if you have a simple setup for your phone, you take that to the bar and you drink a couple beers and you can edit that into 3, 4, 5 fun minutes.
Totally, dude. What I would recommend you do, and this is the other thing that I had to break myself of, shoot vertical video, dude. Like the shorts
throw
do
that-
very, very well. And it's
that's on
because everybody's
Instagram and TikTok, too.
yeah, they Instagram, YouTube, they're all competing with TikTok. So vertical video, a minute, dude. Make like shorts. Shorts on YouTube are very popular, so it has to be a minute or less. Okay.
Oh, wow.
And so you can just take little highlights of your little adventure. Just cut it. Shoot like this, dude. Shoot vertical. Just shoot vertical. I know it might seem weird. Shoot vertical.
No, I'm tempted to try it because I've seen enough of that. Like, just from sitting on the toilet, I see enough of that crap where I'm like, some of this is kind of fun, and it catches you off guard for what makes it interesting. You know what I mean? Like,
yes.
I'll see a video, not necessarily even in the fishing world. You just see a video of somebody doing anything or somebody dancing, or like, why is this more interesting than the other 100 that came before it? That it didn't interest me at all. There's weird triggers for what kicks in a video, that makes it something other than the same thing that 100 other people have done. And it's like this weird thing you can't pin down,
Yeah, so shorts are a big deal. So that vertical video, 1 minute or less. And
that's required. Can't go over a minute on
Can't
YouTube.
go over a minute. That to make it a short. And remember, like Instagram's all like that minute stuff, so they're competing with it. So
Instagram,
say it again? Say it again?
Instagram go like 10 minutes, don't they?
No. Well, you can, yes, but it's the little, they call them reels on Instagram. Reels are where it's at. I'm going to give if you're listening, watching the podcast, here's a little pro tip. You want to grow an audience, do reels on Instagram. Reels, and make sure, which is a minute or less vertical video. Same with on YouTube. They call them shorts on YouTube. So minute or less, especially on Instagram, make sure the first 2 seconds of that video is really eye-catching.
Right.
Because that's what they, in Instagram, I don't know what they do in YouTube, but I know that they do this on Instagram. When you're scrolling, and they show suggested reels, they're showing you the first 2 seconds of those videos.
They're looking
so
for that
make
thing.
sure, here's a little pro tip, I've now had to learn the hard way, but that first 2 minutes is critical.
Have you ever tried to edit on your phone?
Yeah, I have. I mean, you can totally edit on your phone.
I've done it. I've labored, though, to do it. It seemed like it should have been easier,
Yeah.
But I think part of it's being smart with the clips you get. Everything should be a meaty clip. So when you get down to the editing part, you don't have a bunch of wasted, footage.
Right. So yes, I'm Pete. Please, yes. If we're gonna get there sooner, and I'm not saying you have to do this, but if you want to, we're gonna get to where we need to get sooner. If you're putting stuff up too. And I'm not that same guy that used to be all like, oh, everything's got to be this. Just put it up, dude.
I'm all for it if you're doing most of the editing, or all of the editing. But I don't mind if
I'm saying if you want to do a short.
Yeah.
If you want to, yeah.
Because I'm out all the time thinking this would be pretty interesting to see from the other side,
And just think, you have a great eye, dude, and you know what's interesting. Just put that into a little, little story, a minute story. People are gonna eat that up.
Yeah.
So okay, we got that's the whole game plan, right? Is to in between having another fishing show pop up, we're putting another fishing podcasts up and this more raw content until the next of another fishing show arrives. So that's the strategy.
Right.
Let's get through to some fishing news right now, because I want you to get your boat ready and I don't want to take up any more of your time here. I think that's all I wanted to.
And by the way, if you want to go to Montana in April, you could film another fishing show out there. I'm going to be out there for a week just trout fishing my dream water in a drift boat. So it's not like it won't be hard to film. I'm renting a drift boat for 3 days, and I don't even know what I'm doing. I'm drifting.
That sounds like awesome content.
Yes. I'm taking a guide for 2 days just to learn the and then I'm floating that same stretch 3 times, and it's guaranteed fishable before runoff because it's tailwater. The Missouri River is tailwater, so it's always fishable even when all the other streams around it are blowing out.
Right.
So And it's like the legendary stretch of water. The river runs through it. I mean, that's right where it starts. So if there's an interest, either way, I'm filming out there. So
when is that? Not that I'm acting like I would have the money to do that right now, but you never know.
It's not what you would need to do, man. Like I'm sleeping in the Tahoe on the river. I have a Tahoe with a hitch. So I'm probably bringing a tent too. I just don't know the temps. It's like the 16th through I'm leaving on a Tuesday, coming back on a Sunday, and I'm flying out of Rochester. So I'm bouncing through the cities on my way out there, and then landing in Bozeman, and then sneaking my way up to the north of Helena, I guess it is, and I have no idea what I'm doing. No idea.
Okay. Well, yeah, that's definitely.
That's the fishing show. We don't have any idea. What
I love it. Yeah, let's we'll talk about that more tomorrow because I just need to know some more specifics. But
would be
for sure. No, that sounds awesome. But all right, so let's get into the fishing news here, Pete. I don't know if you know this or not, and I know how much of a drinker you are. You're not. You're very responsible. You're very responsible.
I would like to grab a beer too.
Go for it. I'll start the story here. There is, you're not going to believe this, there is an Igloo bar on Lake of the Woods. Zipple Bay Resorts has an Igloo bar, and it just opened recently. And look at that thing. It looks like just a fantastic place to belly up to a frozen. I don't know if the bar itself is frozen, but look at that. Like, does that not look like a good time to you?
Is that actual snow?
Yeah, that's on Lake of the Woods.
What is going on? So what are they put windows in snow?
Well, that is a great. Let's dive into this a little bit more. This is from and I want to thank Target Walleye, Brett McComas at Target Walleye for bringing this to my attention. There you go, crack it open, buddy. What are you drinking?
I got a lake can right here.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Classic right there.
That is good marketing right there, Golden Light.
This is old beer from the summer. She's a little dusty in the downstairs fridge.
Is she skunky? No, it's not. It's a can. Skunk only happens with bottles, right?
She was fresh. She was skunky, so we're good.
All right, so here's, let me just read this article a little bit. Maybe I'll read the whole thing here. The Igloo Bar is a destination to add to your ice fishing itinerary. Winter is a happy and just so you know, this article is from the Lake of the Woods Chamber of Commerce. So it's going to be a little bit, you need to come up here right now. But this could be another fishing show, piece, that we incorporate into another fishing show episode. But the Igloo Bar is a destination to add your ice fishing itinerary. Winter is a happy and busy time up at Lake of the Woods. The area is buzzing with activity. In these parts, winter is celebrated and welcomed. Ice fishing is an absolute culture in northern Minnesota. Anglers from all ability levels and all walks of life come up to partake in some of the best ice fishing in the world at Lake of the Woods. With that being said, some like to go hardcore fishing, and others, are they talking about us? Maybe here, Pete? Mm-hmm. And others fish, but also enjoy some of the other fun experiences the Lake of the Woods area has to offer. For instance, there are a variety of resorts. See, this is the Chamber of Commerce part of this.
It's definitely made of snow, but it does not make it less cool.
Right.
Because it says when the ice softens in March, that's when tractors haul it back to shore in 2 pieces. But a brilliant idea. That's a brilliant idea.
Yeah, so it's let's see, it's located on. So it's on it's on Lake of the Woods. It's loaded with a big screen TVs, electric lights, running water, a bar, limited hot food menu, and heated porta potties that look like little igloos. So it's on Zipple. Head out. Okay, usual. Yeah. So this year the bar is located in its usual position, out on Lake of the Woods on Zipple Bay Reef. So it's decked out with satellite TV, propane heat, running hot water. This is totally another fishing show, dude.
You can fish in there.
Where do you see that?
On the end, it says you can lift up a section of the tavern's insulated floor. You pay for it, and you can jig for walleye from your bar stool.
So we got to put this. This needs to be in our list, dude.
Okay, well, we need to get up there in the next 3 or 4 days because they've already had one bombardier go through the ice. And
No. Let's keep this for next winter. I think right. Let's next winter.
Yeah, next winter, the fires of hell will be burning planet Earth. Apparently, from the way this one's going.
Oh goodness. Okay, so then let's see here. If you're looking for something different, this is different. It gets a little crazy in here when someone catches a big one. Nick Painovich, owner of the Igloo, said he usually situates the Igloo miles out from shore above a walleye hotspot in the Zipple Bay fish house. This sounds amazing.
It's amazing.
The Igloo is licensed as a mobile food court, fish house, and caterer. Igloo requires electricity supplied by a gas generator. The owners had to jump many hoops in the Minnesota DNR because this was never done before. It has passed the tests and has proven to be a hot spot for anglers to frequent. Yeah, so I think that's definitely something that we need to add
but
to our list.
They had financial risk. However, the Igloo did not go out on the ice this past year, which they're talking about last year, I guess.
Okay.
Hopefully that wasn't due to ice. That was probably more due to just getting it out there. But what a great idea. I mean, anytime you can fish, there's a dam bar in the Mississippi that is a bar that you can fish from, and that is fabulous.
Oh, yeah.
Get a tetanus shot before you go, but it is fabulous.
So I wanted to share that with you, Pete. I thought that's a perfect, we need to do that for another fishing show. That's just a perfect another fishing show episode.
When you see
at least incorporate it into an episode. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I know. Like, we can just sit there and fish till we fall off our bar stool.
I mean, it's another fishing show is about characters too. Like that's.
Yeah, you want to go where everybody knows your name.
Yeah, it's like that would. Yeah, what is that? That reminds me of something. So let's see here. Now this is quite something. I don't know. Actually, let's do this first. So I've always been a real big fan of like Rapala. I don't even know, is Normark still the main parent company over Rapala that owns it? Probably. I don't know anymore.
It can't be, right? I mean,
yeah, maybe not. But whoever does and it's been this way for a long time, whoever does Rapala's marketing and advertising always knocks it out of the park, dude. They have billboards in Minnesota that are really funny.
They always felt marketing Frito-Lay and Pepsi caliber marketing, where everybody else was just in the fishing marketing.
Yeah, exactly. So with that being said, check out this new Rapala ad that came out, and it's got two guys that I've worked with extensively, Bass Pro Tour guys, and I think it's really, really, really good.
Welcome to Minnow King. How can I help you?
Everything looks good. I'm friggin' starving, man. Been spawning all morning.
Ugh, TMI, bro. What do you want?
I'll take a Crush City freeloader and gizzard shad.
Anything to drink.
Water.
Pull ahead, please. Welcome to Minnow King.
We're gonna have what he's had. Yeah, throw me in a Ned BLT, too.
Pull ahead, please.
Calm down. Quit feeding so much.
Dude, come on. Is that not great?
If you
what do you want to have to drink? Water?
What did he order?
And he goes, it's been a long day. I've been spawning all morning.
Then he goes TMI, like too much information, right? Is that what the drive-thru guy says?
Watch it again. I'll keep us unmuted this time.
Does he order a BLT, or what does he say there?
So a BLT, yeah. So it's a kind of lure. That's a new lure. All of these Rapala's now doing soft plastics, dude.
I was gonna say that's their introduction to soft plastics, right?
Yeah. Yeah, so it's called Crush City, this new line of soft plastics. It looks great. Everything they do is just fantastic. I love them. So, watch it again. I'll unmute us so we can comment as it goes.
Welcome to Minnow King. How can I help you?
Everything looks good. I'm friggin' starving, man. Been spawning all morning.
Come on.
Hi, bro. What do you want?
I'll take a Crush City freeloader and gizzard shad.
Anything to drink.
Water.
Water, of course.
Welcome to Minnow King.
We're gonna have what he's had. Yeah, throw me in a Ned BLT, too.
Pull ahead, please.
calm down. Quit feeding so much. Hey, man, I'm trying to feed. If you overfeed him,
item menu that was crush them all, and it was it was like you could get one of everything, I think. They had a meal special on there. That is great, dude.
It's pretty great, right?
Fisherman.
Oh, so that's Dustin Connell, who just won a Bass Pro Tour event. And then Jacob Wheeler. Jacob Wheeler's the best bass angler in the world right now.
Wheeler's the passenger?
Yeah, Wheeler is actually Wheeler's driving. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's a good old boy right there on the passenger side.
Yeah, he's from Alabama. He's great though, dude. He's Dustin. I think he's first and foremost, he's just a fantastic angler. And both Jacob and Dustin are really good to work with, and they're top of the game, right? But they're super good to work with, and DC in particular, it's just, Dustin Connell, DC. That's why he goes what he goes by a lot. But he's super laid back. Like it's always interesting when I find when I work with guys like that are like really really good, that are just like. Pfft. And another angler like that is Ott Defo. Like Ott Defo is just like he's so good, and he's like, meh, whatever. So I'm trying to be more like those guys. Just relax a little bit. No, it's not going to happen.
Which, by the way, the kid that sold me my minnows just bought a $50,000 bass boat, and he's going down.
That's a cheap one.
Yeah, he's going down to Table Rock to fish a tournament down there. So when I was walking away with my minnows, this kid was like 18 years old. I'm like, hey, by the way, them good old boys don't like you Yankees coming down there and taking their bass money. And he was just kind of had to look at his face like, oh, shit, I didn't think about that.
Wow. Interesting.
Pretty good stuff, though. Table Rock, that's your own haunt.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, Table Rock, spent a lot of time on Table Rock.
But that is
great bass fishery.
It's good to see Rapala still killing it.
Oh, yeah, they're killing it with just amazing hard baits now, soft baits.
Yeah,
and they're still killing it, obviously, with their marketing and advertising.
It wasn't just that their ads were great; their product was great, always great.
Totally, yeah,
even those
absolutely.
pamphlets they would put in the wraps they used to tell you how to fish. You could unfold it, and it would give different approaches and all this. It was in, I guess, it was in Norwegian, half of it or something, right, or Swedish, whatever it was.
Finnish, I guess.
Maybe. Oh, right. But I just loved every aspect of those things, from the packaging. The hooks were super sharp. I still use them relentlessly. They're just a fabulous lure.
Yeah, no doubt.
Good for those guys.
Yeah, Rapala is like just one of the great brands in fishing.
It never dipped. But I do think I remember hearing they got bought out by somebody, like everybody always does.
Yeah. Well, okay, so moving on. I don't know, Pete. Have you heard about the fish bandit at all?
I've heard it and didn't understand it, so maybe you can.
Yeah, so there is a fish bandit loose, and this is coming from USA Today. Look at this, Pete. I feel bad for that common carp.
I do.
Jeez.
What was his purpose, though? Do we find?
I don't know. So we're going to get into this article. This.
Oh, he's smoking a cigarette. I didn't see that. So what is the point? Is he
maybe that carp is into that. Maybe it's in a bondage S&M or something. I don't know. Let's get into this USA Today article. A teen whose Instagram username is @FishBandit84 has been arrested in Provo, Utah. Oh, he has been arrested. Okay. In Provo, Utah for taping fish to ATMs and other objects.
What?
The 17-year-old executed these bizarre pranks more than a dozen times from last August through December, ABC4 and Fox 13 in Salt Lake City reported. But they weren't always in the Provo and Orem areas. He did some of these strange antics internationally, posting videos of them on his Instagram account where his bio states, "Live, laugh, tape fish on ATMs." This is something, this guy.
This kid is making, going back to your trying to break through, he's making enough money to travel internationally to tape fish to ATMs.
Well, I guess you got to look at his Instagram account. What is he pulling there?
Yes.
What's his follower count? That might just, and this is a totally different world we're in now.
But the article doesn't give us any clues to his thought processes other than live, laugh, and tape fish to ATMs. Is that a crappie?
That's a crappie right there. Yeah, there's a crappie. And looks like, is he catching these fish? Is he a fisherman?
He's got
two.
That's carp.
Carp, yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
what
he went for two there.
Is this person maybe autistic or something? Like this is doing something that what would? Okay, let's see. Maybe well, no. There's a channel cat.
Yeah. Well, you should have felt that way about the carp.
No, I don't like seeing any of it. It's terrible. What is going on?
So his day is he goes fishing.
Yeah, he goes. So, let's see if there's anything more to this. One Instagram video shows a fish taped to an ATM in Tokyo in what appears to be a subway station. We're going We're going international, the perpetrator wrote on the post. Yeah, he's doing this. I'd like to see his Instagram account because he might be getting a lot of action on that thing.
Yeah, look at his travels.
Other fishy videos reported to have been taken in Frankfurt, Germany, Guatemala City, Guatemala, and Phoenix. And yet another was taken in a bathroom stall of a Bass Pro Shop store.
What does that mean? He taped the side of the stall?
I guess so.
By the way, did you see the kid walking out of the Bass Pro Shops with the huge fish he pulled out of the tank?
I tried to like make that into a video or something, and it wouldn't allow me to do it. So I'm like, I guess I can't talk about it. But yeah, there's a guy that caught a tarpon. Wasn't it a tarpon? He caught a tarpon out of a Bass Pro Shops aquarium, and then just ran out with it. And I don't know if they ever found the kid or do you
hear anything more? It's like TikTok. It flies by in 30 seconds and then it's forgotten about, until just now.
Yeah, it's wild. And yet another, he used a variety of fish such as trout, bluegill, bass, catfish, carp, and crappie. One fish had a cigarette in its mouth. That was that carp. In one incident, he taped a trout to a Provo police car. So this guy's international, but he's also messing with the local police.
What kind of fish is
that? It's a little bit more. I think he's probably nervous. He was in a hurry, so it's a little out of focus. What do you think that is?
I think it's a trout, but is Provo a town?
Yeah, Provo, Utah.
Oh, Utah.
Yeah. This is he has been apprehended though, evidently.
Yeah, but what? I wonder what the charge is. I guess just putting duct tape on an ATM will probably screw some shit up too. I suppose.
All right, so the teen faces. Here we go. The teen faces 2 charges of property damage stemming from the cost of the cleanup. ABC4 reported the case was referred to Juvenile Justice and Youth Services. What a character!
I'd like to talk down about. I'd like to talk him down a bit, but I've done so many stupid things in my youth. I don't know if any of them are, better.
Yeah,
than
you
that.
can't talk. You would be a total hypocrite if you were a wild man in your teenage years. There's no doubt there. We can get into that in a previous or in a future podcast. And then I don't know if it's good for your business though too if you get too much into how much of a hell you need.
Definitely, we can't.
Okay, so lastly, we're coming up in the end here. This is a buddy of mine. So I've told you numerous times, I've been hooked filming and really bad in the ankle. One time, actually on the Achilles tendon.
Oh, God.
It was really interesting. It was in Brazil, peacock bass, these big wood chopper lures. Peacock bass comes up and misses the lure. The angler sets the hook and the foot-long wood chopper comes flying into the boat and hits me in the ankle, and this big treble hook is this was years and years ago, but it was in my
I remember.
my Achilles, and it was just I'd move my foot up and down and the whole treble hook would go and then I've been hooked by Kevin Van Dam in the forearm. But I have yet to be hooked in the face. That's why I wear safety glasses when I film. And this is a buddy of mine recently.
You've hooked somebody in the face, Greg.
Oh yeah. I'm sorry, Pete. What happened there? That's right. Go ahead.
Greg,
yeah, that's
as
true.
Young boys standing in a trout stream with a spinner. Wasn't it a spinner?
It was. Yep.
Greg hooked me in the temple.
It was too big of a spinner, and that was part of the problem.
Right. And to my credit, I went to the emergency room later that night. Made my dad take me. I continued fishing with a spinner in my temple. because I'm like, well, we're here. Let's just
let's It's, I mean, you are up to date on your tetanus shots and everything. Everything worked out fine. You're a diehard.
I wanted to clear that up, and I also wanted to clear up. This is
important.
Kind of like, speaking of Howard Stern, this is kind of the news set. This is Robin doing the news. Do you
yes, dude. That? What do you? Of course. I've finally figured out with Ecamm Live how to
just even do it anymore.
Take the video off the internet and bring pictures up, and I'm not taking any tutorials on Ecamm Live. I'm just like, what does this do? Oh, that does that. Well, what does this do? And so with time, it's gotten to be okay, this is kind of feeling like something now, But yeah, it's totally Robin's the News. It's a total ripoff. I'm totally influenced by that show.
Awesome.
That's we are heavily influenced by Howard, and the whole crew. I mean, we could talk,
good at what he does.
Yeah. So, filming fishing can be hazardous. And case in point, my buddy John Ossang, he is a fantastic friend of mine. Fantastic cameraman. He was at the recent Bass Pro Tour event, Stage 1, down on Toledo Bend Reservoir, and look what happened. Oh, goodness.
Oh,
yeah, so
deep.
Yeah. It's so my buddy John has got this, everybody's using this forward-facing sonar now, right? And these lures specifically designed for forward-facing sonar. It looks like John has got one of those lures specifically designed for forward-facing sonar embedded into his left cheek.
What does the design do for forward sonar?
What's that?
What does the design do that helps?
So what it is that now there's with forward-facing sonar, you can now see fish in the middle of nowhere. People can now target fish that they never really fished for before. So forward-facing sonar, live sonar, live scoping, whatever you want to call it, the fact that you can see fish in front of you, moving and how they're reacting to your bait. They can be out suspended in 50 feet of water. You can cast to them now and actually fish for those fish where you couldn't do it before, really, not efficiently. And so there's lures now that are just specifically designed for that water column, and just fishing in the middle of the water column.
Right.
So, and that's what that is. It's just a jig head, right?
Did they stop and get that out, or did he continue filming? Because they're in action right there, right?
Right, exactly. So what happened? I tried to take the video off of Facebook of him. Well, they had side cutters and they cut it off.
They had to punch through and cut it.
Yeah, the official just had side cutters and cut that off. So you can see the official in the background there.
Poor guy.
Yeah. So John actually lives in Montana, and he's a great buddy of mine, and I'm sorry to hear that happen, or see that happen. But the fact is, I'm glad he's got glasses on, and it's not, you can't mess around out there. I mean, this is definitely something that can happen, and it's kind of what happened to him is a real fear of mine.
I can't believe more than not. This summer, the first time ever, I got a fly in my hand that was too deep to get out. So, and I couldn't get a phone signal. I'm like, all right, what's that trick, where you gotta, hook the line around it?
Yeah.
So I went up to the top of a hill, got a phone signal, watched a YouTube video on it, wrapped the line through it, gave it a pop, and it came out without even feeling it.
Oh,
it was
perfect.
amazing. Yeah,
Perfect.
You press on the shank, and then it pull on the curved part of the hook. And I had seen it done to other people before. Like a friend up in the Boundary Waters got a wrap in his thigh, which was not fun. But came out clean. I'm like, that's a really important skill to have out there. But I can't believe we haven't had more close calls in the face area.
Yeah.
It feels like when you're out there slinging, especially bass fishing, that something is going to give eventually. But I guess you just kind of get in a groove with, throwing lures, and you feel good with it. But it freaks me out too. I'm with you on that one.
Yeah, it's not to be messed with, and it's one thing. It sucks to get hooked, obviously, in the face. It'd be really something. And there's been other, another camera guy several years ago now, I guess, friend of mine, it was just terrible that he had, and this wasn't even about getting hooked. It was just the fact that the angler that he was filming was using a really big, like a punching weight. So like, like an ounce all the way up to 2 ounce weight. These guys use their punching mats, that fish are under. And this fish grabbed it and he set the hook. The fish, didn't get hooked, let go. And that thing came in like a bullet and busted his glasses and just totally jacked his left eye, I believe. Totally just made him blind essentially in that eye. So after that happened, I just always wear safety glasses now. Yeah. But it's funny to think, it's not funny, it's terrible really, that up until that point I had not done that.
Yeah.
And so you see with John here, that's not far from his eyes. There's no reason that couldn't happen.
Those pro fishermen are dialed in and just casting and snapping and casting and snapping. It's like, that's terrifying.
Yeah, it's nothing to mess around with for sure. And I saw that happen to John and I was like, yeah, that's why I wear glasses. And I think I'm just going to start wearing a helmet and also in a cup, because if someone sets a hook with one of those punching weights and it hits my, I'm gonna just be rolling around forever on the back of that boat, dude. I can't imagine how painful that would be if that hit your cojones.
And you're always right behind those guys, There's no go coming right at you. He's gonna be pulling at your direction,
Yeah. So anyway, just one of the hazards of filming fishermen. Thought I'd share that with you, Pete. And are you ready to wrap this up? We have gone. I knew this would happen. I knew we'd just keep talking and talking and talking. This is why this is so much more fun doing these with you. It really, really is, man. So thank you, dude.
We'll do this for 6 or 8 hours tomorrow, but apparently possibly live streaming too, huh?
Yeah, we're gonna. I want to add the live streaming in as much as we can, and just kind of get better at that and that whole process, But yeah, we're gonna try to do a live stream tomorrow. This podcast is gonna air after the fact. Right. Air. But yeah, we're gonna give live streaming a shot and hopefully just tear up the walleyes and sauger tomorrow. So looking forward to it. Yeah, go ahead.
Wait, I can't wait to be outside tomorrow and fishing.
It's crazy, man. 50 degree weather.
We just have to root for no boat malfunctions. I literally bought a car this week and then went to hook my boat up to it, and the harness is like broken for the car I just bought. So
I wouldn't expect anything. I wouldn't expect anything less.
I still have my old car, so I'm like, okay, at least I have a backup. But I'm like, this is so stupid. So I literally dropped off my car at the shop to get the harness fixed. But I'm like, it's boating in a nutshell, man. Something's gonna go wrong. We just need to overcome tomorrow. So
yeah, it's part of the story. I'll document all of it, and I love that stuff. So, but yeah, so we'll wrap up here. If you're new to another fishing show, watching this for the first time, you can also listen on all of the major podcasting apps. Just search another fishing show or another fishing podcast rather. And you can find us there to listen to. So we're on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, all the big ones. We're there. And then also, if you're listening to this, you can watch the video podcast. You can go to Angling Uploaded, the YouTube channel, and you could go to the playlist there on our Angling Uploaded YouTube channel. Go to the playlist, and you'll find the video podcasts up there. So, and then Instagram, we're doing stuff on Instagram, Angling Uploaded. I think that's it. So thanks again, Pete. Really appreciate it, dude. Looking forward to fishing tomorrow. And I'll let you have the last word.
I want to say it's good to be back, y'all. So tune in. There's going to be some fun stuff happening on this. Hey, channel.
let's go like the old days, man. Why don't you do your catchphrase and that's how we'll end this.
All right, everybody. Life lesson here. Turn up your radios.
Keep your crawlers out of the sun. You know what I'm saying? It's a terrible smell. Nobody wants that.